Story stone. A brief euphoria had swept through everyone but her. At first she had been too shocked at how close she had come to losing her life to join in the celebration. She ran her fingers along the healed but still raised line along her throat, where the gap-toothed soldier had cut her before she could free herself. But then the clan's mood had swiftly changed to anger at Scotia. They blamed her for causing both the battle and the death of the young warrior Miles. Once the shouting stopped, she was left with averted gazes and silence, even from her sister Jeanette and her cousin Rowan. Her father scowled at her and said nothing. Even Duncan, who always seemed to champion her, often at the same time he chided her for whatever scrape she had gotten herself into, refused to look at her.
"Scotia the pots!"
Peggy barked at her.
"They do not clean themselves." "Aye, Peggy, I ken that all too well, leave me be."
She scowled at the old woman and scooped up a fresh handful of sand from the battered bucket at her side, and returned to scouring the large iron pot that was still crusted with bits of porridge from the morning meal.
"That I cannot do. Lest ye hair off after some new scheme that will get more of us killed without cause." "I did not. You did."
Her voice quavered, but was still strong enough to carry to all who worked near them.
"We all ken it, as you should."
Scotia sighed, scooped up another handful of sand, hardening herself against the humiliation she knew the old woman was going to throw at her again, railing at Scotia for something that was not her fault, though Scotia seemed to be the only one who understood that.
"You went against your chief's orders and forced Miles into a position he should not have been in, and for that he paid with his life."
Peggy glared at Scotia, something she had never done before Miles's death.
"We have all coddled you too long. 'Tis beyond time for you to grow up and take responsibility for your actions."
Peggy banged a long wooden spoon against the rim of another iron pot that hung over the cook fire, then replaced the lid and turned her full attention back to Scotia, her gnarled hands fisted on her hips, one still clenching the spoon.
"You are a woman now, Scotia, but you still act a child. It's unbecoming of the daughter of a chief, and the daughter of anyone, to be so thoughtless with the lives of others."
Scotia peeked through her lashes as several other women working near the cook circle stared up at her. The momentary acknowledgement that she still existed among them almost made up for the glints of distrust and disappointment she saw in their eyes. She looked away from them all. It was not her fault that the English had killed Miles. Aye, he would not have left his perch high in a tree for the ground if she had not passed by his lookout position. But she was not the one to pull the blade and kill him. She turned her attention back to her task, blocking out the sideways looks, the shaking heads, and the heat on her cheeks that she knew gave away her humiliation at Peggy's groundless blame. She could shun them just as much as they shunned her. Besides, if the clan had taken up the task to fight the English who had made their way into the MacAlpin's glen, rather than just watch for them, she never would have taken it upon herself to search them out to deliver justice. If the clan had attacked, she never would have been taken hostage, never would have had a knife held at her throat. It was not her fault they had a chief who did not ken how to lead. 'Twas Rowan's fault for falling in love with the spy, then declaring him her protector, displacing Scotia's da from a position he had held with honor for many years. But then again, if the clan had attacked, as it should have, she never would have had reason to train herself in the art of weaponry, so she would never again be at the mercy, if one could call it that, of the English bastards. A bloodthirstiness she had not thought herself capable of until recently took over her mind, loosing all the hatred she had for the English to burn through her veins, gathering all the grief she had endured at their hands into a writhing ball of pain where her heart used to beat, and in her belly. She did not ken what that sensation was, but it roiled, dark and oily, demanding release. She had to be ready when this new and larger invasion of English soldiers arrived, and she did not have long if Jeanette's visions were correct, and they had been so far. She kept scrubbing at the already clean pot while glancing around the clearing again, taking note that once more no one was looking at her. The council was huddled in their circle on the far end of the clearing arguing, though they kept their voices low enough she could not make out what the topic of dissension was today. She feared Nicholas would allow them to argue forever without ever